Well, good evening and happy Tuesday, and welcome to this edition of the Leadership Edge podcast. I'm your host, Dr. P. Ronald Wilder. This podcast, the Leadership Edge, is just what it says in its title, the Leadership Edge. It's our desire to give you that edge that you need as a leader in your leadership portfolio. Here at the Leadership Edge, we talk leadership, all things leadership. And so we thank you. I want to thank you for tuning in and chiming in this evening. And we're going to continue our discussion on observations of leadership tonight. But before we do that, I want to remind you, you're watching me on BGTV Studios, amen, Facebook page, and maybe the YouTube channel. But do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button, whichever one on Facebook it tells you to do. On YouTube, BGTV Studios YouTube channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and subscribe to BGTV Studios so that you can have access to all the great content that's available. So go ahead and subscribe. Also, you're watching, hey, comment while you're watching, amen, comment, amen, in addition to sharing, but comment. Let us know where you're watching from. And also, if there are things said during the podcast that definitely help you or touch you or is real to you, hey, comment and let the podcasters know, amen, that what they're saying is helping you. All right? Thank you so much. Well, let's talk leadership. Observations of leadership. This is part 3 of observations of leadership. We started talking about this a couple of weeks ago, 2 broadcasts ago, and we dealt with the first 2 sections. And so we want to get back into that today, okay? Observations on leadership. Now, we were talking about growing as a leader. I believe, if you've been watching me for any period of time, you know I believe in growing. I believe that a leader should be growing. I believe that growth is a continuous process. I don't think you ever get to the point as a leader where you don't need to grow anymore. Because the moment you stop growing, that means you're on an upward trajectory, you start to plateau, you level out. And from a plateauing position, most of the time, 90% of the time, I'll even go say 98% of the time, from a plateau position, most people begin to go down. Very seldom do you plateau and start back up, okay? So don't plateau, keep growing. So I believe that leaders are to grow, okay? And that should be a part of your repertoire, that you're always growing as a leader. Now, we begin to talk about that there are 3 words that will determine your growth. The 3 words are choice, change, and climate, okay? Choice, change, climate. Before you start growing, you have to first make the choice to grow. Nothing happens until you make the choice. It's on you. I can't make that choice for you. You can't make it for me. Everyone has to make it for themselves. That is a personal responsibility issue, okay? We're all accountable and responsible for our own growth. And it doesn't come until we make the choice that we want to grow. I tell you, you often heard my testimony of how I became what I became. I made a choice one day, sitting in a leadership seminar, that I wanted to be a leadership expert and guru. And I made the choice, okay, to do that. Didn't happen. I never had that happen to me before that day. Is when I made the choice. And all of a sudden I made the choice, followed through on that choice. Here I am today. So the first thing is choice. Second thing is change, okay? Choice allows you to start growing. Change allows you to continue to grow. Okay. The one thing you will find on a growth trajectory is change. It doesn't stay the same, okay? If you are not willing to change, you will not grow, because growth will automatically bring change. Tell you what, let's look at it first of all from a natural standpoint. A baby is born. As they begin to grow, things change. When they're growing up, they're mostly eating pureed food, like Gerber's or something that's all mashed, that they can just suck like mashed potatoes type things, right? And milk. As they grow, guess what? Their diet change. They get solid food. They don't want that anymore. The taste for it leaves. They change clothing. Everything about them change, okay? They change from you carrying them to them starting walking. growth is automatic change. The same holds true as a leader. If you're going to continue to grow, again, and remember choice begins the growth process, but change continues it. I know people who hate change. They detest change. They think change is the enemy. Change is not your enemy. Change is the only way progress can be made. And so you have to be willing to change as you go. I've changed so much. As a matter of fact, unless you're in a constant state of changing, you're not going to keep growing. Growth means change, okay? It's basically what it means. So accept the fact that things will change. You'll see things different. Because when you begin to grow, you get different perspective. And so you begin to see things different. So you'll change even your views on certain things. You'll change the way you do things, okay? It's all about growing, all about growing. Some people say, man, you changed. Yes, I have. Why? Because I'm growing. I'm not changing because I think I'm better than you. I change because I'm growing. Growth equals change. Now, so choice and change. Choice, again, starts me to change. I don't start growing until I choose to change. Change allows me to continue growing. The third word is climate. Climate allows me to enjoy the growing. Okay, so I have to create a climate, a growth climate. That means I'm in a place where growth is the norm. The climate makes me grow. The atmosphere, the arena I've created, the people I bring around me, or the people I'm around, they're all growing. So I'm in a growing environment. Okay, so I enjoy it because the environment, amen, pushes me to grow. I can't stay in this environment and not grow. Okay, I can't be around these people and not grow. So you have to create a climate, being around a climate that challenges you, that pushes you, that inspires you, that provokes you. That's what climate does. So you create a great climate that will assist you in that growth process. All right? So choice, change, climate. Choice, change, climate. Yeah, that's the environment I endeavor to always create around myself and for those that are running in my circles and those that come around me. This is a growing environment. You're going to come around me, growth is going to be automatic. Okay? And you're going to enjoy the growth because we're going to grow together. Now, as a leader, my desire and your desire should be to always be successful. We want to succeed as a leader. No one wants to fail. No one starts off to fail. No one starts there, okay? I mean, it's like take marriage. No one gets married to get a divorce. They don't believe they're going to get a divorce. They get married to stay in love, live together forever, okay? But things happen along the way. Well, again, same with leadership. Nobody goes into leadership to fail, not be successful. We all want to win. We all want to come out on top. So the question is, how do we succeed? What are some of the steps that can help us succeed? Well, as a leader, here's what I've found out. And as a pastor who leads a congregation, who leads people, who leads teams, who leads other leaders in organizations that I'm a part of, I have found out that those who are closest to me will determine my level of success. So if those who are closest to me are going to determine my level of success, then I got to have a sharp eye on picking the people that I bring around me in my team as leaders to help me succeed. So picking leaders becomes one of my primary objectives as a leader, but I got to nail it. I got to hit it on the head, all right? Because if I don't hit it on the head, what's going to happen? It's going to set me back. So I got to pick a leader. So how do I pick a leader? Remember, this lesson is called Observations on Leaderships. So how do I pick a leader? Well, to pick a leader, guess what I got to have? I got to have a picture of a leader. I got to know what a leader looks like. You got the same situation. Some of you are leaders. Some of you want to be leaders. Some of you are leaders who have to pick leaders. Let me paint a picture. Let me take this time now in this podcast and probably first part, the rest of this podcast and probably next podcast and next week's podcast and paint the picture of a leader so that you will know what to look for when you start picking. Because the bottom line is a lot of times we don't know what to look for, so we just grab anything and everything. We don't have a picture. Well, let me give you a picture of what a leader looks like. Now, I'm going to give you 8 things over the rest of this podcast and next week. Now, they are not in the order of importance. In other words, they are not 1 is 1, 2 is 2. They're not. I'm just giving you 8 principles. They may be in different order. There is one I'm going to put at the top at the end of the day, at the end, but not right now. They're not in order, okay? They're not in order. All right, the first thing that in looking for a leader in observations, how do I know what's the first part of a pitch of a leader? Is leaders make things happen. If the people you're looking to bring in leadership, what you have to look for and see do they make things happen? Because at the end of the day, guess what? Leaders are action-oriented. They are movers. They are shaking. Things around them are always moving because they got things moving. They are movers and they are shakers, okay? Leaders are not like dead batteries. You don't have to put battery cables in them, crank the car up, and pump them up. You ain't got to pump them up every week. You have to call them in your office every week and give them a pep talk. That is not what they need. They are self-motivated. Okay, they are self-motivated and they make things happen. Things around them are always moving. As a matter of fact, I like to say, leaders are momentum makers. They create momentum. Positive momentum for you. Positive momentum in the organization. And I did a session, a podcast a little while ago, backwards on a momentum. And what do we say? Momentum is the leader's best friend. You know, like in the natural, with the animal world, they say dog is a man's best friend, okay? And that's true. Of all the animals, dog is a man's best friend, okay? Now, well, if dog is a man's best friend, momentum is a leader's best friend. What a dog is to man, momentum is to a leader, okay? And so the leaders that you want to bring around or bring up, the picture of them is, are they momentum makers? Can they create momentum? Are they action-oriented? Are they movers and are they shakers? So the first thing, the leaders make things happen. You know what they don't do? They don't make excuses. No, they don't. They don't make excuses. They don't accept barriers, and they don't accept boundaries. Now, that doesn't mean that those things don't exist. They just don't allow them to stop them. In other words, they ain't going to make an excuse for why they couldn't do it. They're not going to let this barrier hinder them from getting to their objective. They're going to overcome it, find a way to overcome it. They're not going to let the boundaries that they've been accustomed to, stop them from forward progress. That's what leaders are. Hey, I'm in it to win it. Because you can always make an excuse. You can always accept the barrier. You can always accept the boundary. And that's what people do who are not leaders. They allow those things to stymie them, and then they'll blame them for their lack of production. Whereas leaders will say, no, I see the barrier, but I also see a way to overcome it. I see the obstacle, but I see a way to win around it, okay? Leaders make things happen. They keep at it until it happens. They don't stop. They keep at it. When you give a leader, a real leader, an assignment, this is many times how I judge it. When you give them assignment, they make it happen, okay? They make it happen. You don't have to go hunt them down. They're going to come back and report to you. Leaders make things happen. That's the first picture of a leader. Leaders make things happen. Number 2 in the picture, leaders see with their eye, they see, and they seize. That means they grab opportunities, okay? A leader sees and seizes an opportunity. They see the opportunity, and then they seize the opportunity. What leaders do. In other words, leaders have an eye to spot an opportunity. They have an eye to spot something that will help the organization, that will enhance the church, that will enhance the ministry. okay, that will promote the business. They see it. Not only do they see it, but they don't hesitate to seize it. They don't sit there and say, well, I saw it, but I didn't do it. I procrastinated. Procrastination is not in their language, in their vocabulary. They don't hesitate. I heard a great leader say one time, he said, he who hesitates loses. Okay? He who hesitates loses. Because remember, what you are seeing, somebody else is seeing. And if you hesitate, while you hesitating, they moving on it. He who hesitates loses. When you hesitate, you lose. I like to say it like this here. I forgot, I think it was, who made this statement. It's a great Leonard, his first name is Leonard, I can't get his last name. But he made this statement. Listen to this very carefully. This is powerful. We talk about leaders seeing and seizing opportunity. So if you don't seize the opportunity when you see it, the opportunity could pass you by. Here's what he said. The opportunity of a lifetime must be entered during the lifetime of the opportunity. I'm going to say it again. That's powerful. The opportunity of a lifetime must be entered in during the lifetime of the opportunity. All right, let me break that down. In other words, if I see something that's an opportunity of a lifetime, I got to go into that opportunity while the opportunity lives. The opportunity of a lifetime must be entered during the lifetime of the opportunity. All right, let's take Michael Jordan. Arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. We call him the GOAT, greatest of all time. Okay? Michael Jordan entered the NBA at age 22, 23. And for the next 13, 14 years, he was a dominant figure. Okay? And that opportunity to play in the NBA opened up a world to him. He's a global icon today. Not only known for basketball, but he hadn't played basketball for 20 years, and his sneakers sell more than anybody in the world. He's a multi-billionaire. Everybody wear Jordan shoes. Not Jordan, just the Jordan brand started with just shoes. Now it's shoes. It's clothing. It's football uniform. Team, you see the teams, amen, in the SEC football with the Jordan brand on. Basketball, you see, NBA team with the brand. I saw the other day looking at the Major League Baseball playoffs. One of the players on one of the teams had an elbow guard with the Jordan brand. They're in the elbow. He's in everything. Now, here's the point I want to bring to you. He started playing basketball at the NBA at 23. He actually started playing basketball, earlier, but he went to the NBA at 23. Michael Jordan is now, I think, just turned 60, or maybe close to it. Imagine if Michael Jordan decided to not play basketball at 23, but decided at age 45, I'm going to go play NBA basketball. Well, you know what would have happened? He wouldn't have got a tryout. He wouldn't have got a look, wouldn't have been taken serious. Why? Because the opportunity would have, the lifetime of the opportunity would have passed by. Why? Because to play basketball, you got to be in physical shape. You got to be in certain ways. He would have been got old, his physical skills diminished, everything of that. So he would have been past the lifetime of the opportunity. The opportunity of a lifetime must be entered during the lifetime of the opportunity. So if he waits till he's 40, it's too late. Have to do it. So sometimes you wait on something because you're waiting for what you call the perfect time. But as a leader, if you don't enter that opportunity during the lifetime of the opportunity, it may pass you by. So the opportunity of a lifetime must be entered in during the lifetime of the opportunity. leaders see and seize opportunities. It's here today, but if you don't seize it, it could be gone tomorrow because the lifetime of the opportunity has passed by. That's what leaders do. So leaders make things happen. Leaders see and seize opportunities. They don't hesitate. He who hesitates loses. My time is up. We're going to pick this up on next week's podcast, okay? Now listen, thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and there's a little bit more we're going to get into. It is very good, so stay with me and be with us next week for the continuation and probably conclusion of observations on leadership. Now listen, a couple of things I want to remind you of. Number one, you can visit my website, www.pronaldwilder.com. On my website, you can just learn some things about me, but also you can purchase our book, The ABCs of Leadership. You see me advertising it here. It's on the screen for you today. Great book, great leadership book. A lot of stuff you hear me talk about here is in that book. Some of them in more detail. Some things I haven't in there I haven't said here. It's a book that has gotten rave reviews from folks. People have bought it. Leaders are teaching their teams, staffs, pastors, their leadership staffs. I even had a couple of football coaches today teaching it to their team. So, hey, good book. Grab a hold to it. Also, while you're on the website, you can go to my shop page. On my shop page, you'll find a lot of great leadership teachings. I have this one, Observation on Leadership. I got the Maximus Principle. I took that one from Maximus and Gladiator and talked about that. I got in the pressure cooker, he leaves you when the heat is on. All those things. And you can get them, download them. Any teaching is downloadable for a small fee, and you can have it all the ways. Now, the best buy on the website is the bundle package. It's on this here jump drive. I think there are over 30 leadership teachings on my website. All 30 on this here jump drive. If you were to buy them on the website, probably a little over $300. This is for less than half of that. Amen. You can get this. You'll have everything at your disposal. Put it on your computer and your device. You'll have it all the time. Okay? Best Buy on the website. Also, before we go, this platform, BGTV Studios, is God-sent and a God-ordained kingdom ministry. Want you to support it. Want you to pray about it. Ask the Lord, what do he have you to do? You can do one of two things. You can do a monthly subscriber or give a good one-time gift. Now, the ways you can give is on the screen now. You can go to bgtvstudios.com and give, or you can text any amount to 84321. This is good ground. This is solid ground. Podcasters such as myself and others on here do not get one dime of the money you send in. It's strictly to BGT Studios for the management and the running of this studio. So please pray and ask the Lord. If I didn't believe in BGT Studios, I wouldn't be on this program. Okay, I believe in it. I sow into it. I give into it. I'm asking you to do the same. Okay, I thank you and I appreciate you in advance for doing it. Listen, my time is up. We'll be back next Tuesday. I want you to be back here with me. Amen. For the Leadership Edge podcast. This is your host, Dr. P. Ronald Wilder, reminding you that leadership matters and leaders lead.